Hey guys, you've joined us live at Moneycontrol. I'm Manisha Gupta, and this is the winter season and the record wedding season as well. And while of course there's a lot of demand for various kind of food items, but dry fruits is something that clearly seems to be in demand right now. The industry tells us that as compared to last year, the prices are slightly low and the demand much higher. But let's get that in perspective, and joining us for that is Rajat Kamat from Bola's Agro. Rajat, hi, thank you so much for joining us, and this is the season for you. But first of all, I also want to understand from you on how the season has been, because much of the imports and much of the industry projections would have been made by now.
The season has been fantastic for the overall industry, especially post Raksha Bandhan, when the season started. This year, the season started a month late due to the Adhik Mas that was there. And the season which started from Raksha Bandhan has still not stopped, right? So just post Diwali, the wedding season has started, and post wedding season, I think the winter is now beginning. So the dry fruits market is seeing a very, very good response, especially previously the market was majorly a North Indian consuming market, and now overall this Diwali we've seen all over India, we've seen a lot of demand growing.
Rajat, talk to us about the numbers as well. I mean, what is the overall dry fruit industry within India? What does the best? I mean, I know you excel in cashews here, but how has the growth been in sense of Indian per capita consumption, if I can call it that?
So Indian market today is around 1 lakh crore of the overall dry fruit category, which includes both nuts and dry fruits. Out of which I think today the organized segment can be around 20 to 25,000 crores, and the rest of it is still unorganized. The difference from the past and this now is that the growth of the organized segment has become really fast after COVID, right? And especially what has changed is that all the dry fruits are now being consumed 365 days when compared to a very, very seasonal demand previously. So, for example, dates. It used to be majorly consumed either during Ramzan or during winter. But now there is a habit of using dates in daily consumption as a sugar replacement, etc., etc. And almonds, for example, we have been able to talk to the customer and tell them that, okay, you have to have almonds daily for its nutritional benefits. And this has actually impacted well on the overall industry. We've seen a lot of daily demand, daily consumption. Also, what we've seen is that per capita consumption of dry fruits has we are seeing a double-digit growth in per capita income of dry fruits.
Okay.
And this is actually been contributed by Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities more than metro cities, because today, dry fruits, we are able to reach all the dry fruits to remotest corners of India. So South India, for example, which did not consume as much dry fruits before, now is consuming anjeers, the walnuts, the pistachios, and that is because of the availability as well as the marketing campaigns that we are running around it.
Oh, absolutely. I was trying some ice creams yesterday, Rajat, and almost everything had dry fruits within it. So yes, the consumption has penetrated almost all strata there. Talk to us also about the kind of price moves that you have seen. I mean, a lot of people, industry representatives tell us that prices as compared to last year are slightly soft.
Right. So I would contribute this to a number of factors. So one is that overall the global markets are quite down because the consumption has stagnated. However, the supply all over the world. So, for example, I would like to talk to you about cashews. For example, today around 6 to 7 African countries have invested in cashew plantations, and the supply is record. And the American almond also, the supply is at all-time high. So what has happened in this space is that the demand is growing, but the supply is also quite good. Secondly, the technology has helped in reducing the prices. For example, for us around 2007-8, it took us around 5.5 labor to process 1 bag of cashew nuts. Today, it is 0.3 labor to process 1 bag of cashew nuts. And this technology, and what has happened in the industry is, like, players like us, we've tried to penetrate the dry fruits consumption to the Tier 3 and Tier 2 cities and to the rural population, rather than focusing it on the elite. And our goal is, because the supply is increasing and because the overall health space is also growing, we want the dry fruits to reach the end customer and to reach the average Indian. and we are passing this advantage back to the customer, and we call it the factory price advantage.
Rajat, going forward then, what is the outlook for the industry? I mean, are you suggesting, are you looking at a double-digit growth going forward as well, I mean, in the coming years?
Absolutely. I think what we see in India, I mean, Indian space today is very different from the global space, right?
Okay.
In India, the consumption of nuts, if you, as you told, you consumed ice creams, if you consume a biscuit, if you consume a butter chicken, if you consume a biryani, across the space, in the food space, you see dry fruits being used as ingredients. Secondly, the health food space, if you see the new snacking and the health food space industry in India, 90% of these new health food products that are being introduced are majorly having dry fruits as their core ingredients. But if you compare us to say the West, an energy bar which can be used as a daily consumption may work in the US or the Europe, but in India, for example, a proteinized chicky may work, right? So the way we look at health food may be different, but the core products that go into these health foods are dry fruits. Secondly, as I told you, products like anjeers, the dates, they're all moving from a very elite segment in a particular region of India to a pan-India presence across average Indian consumer. Thirdly, I see a lot of potential. For example, this year, we ran a campaign in Karnataka called the Bola's Heritage Series campaign, wherein we created gift boxes which contained stories from the Mahabharata and Ramayana. And we thought it was a great attempt to talk to an average Indian on gifting, right? And we attempted this in Karnataka, which is typically not a gifting market. There is no culture of gifting here. But we saw some extremely impressive numbers. The gifting numbers from past year to this year in the dry fruit segment grew 10 times post this whole campaign that we ran on TV. This is another interesting growth that we are seeing across in India. Lastly, I see that even in the traditional snacking space, you take a kaju katli, for example, or the traditional namkeen mithai, for example. There are a lot of innovations happening. Hazelnuts are now being used to make mithai. Overall, we see a lot of potential for growth, and I think double-digit growth, especially in the organized segment, is seen. Also, I see one more change, that is in GT, in general trade. The consumption has moved majorly from, traditionally, if you wanted to buy dry fruits, you used to go to a kirana store and they used to hand pack it into a small plastic theli and give it to you. Currently, what has happened is that post-COVID, I think it is one of the boons of the COVID health revolution, that even, in remotest places like Gaya or, Gorakhpurs of the world, the kirana stores are now selling 250-gram vacuum sealed or nitrogen flushed pouches of dry fruits. This is a major difference that we are seeing in the space.
Oh, absolutely. And food connects people. Rajat, what a great conversation with you on that very, very interesting space into India. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see more of you. Thank you.